Spencer Hale had always believed that home was a place you could outrun, like a bad play on the field. Fake left, sprint right, and leave the defenders grasping at air. But Willow Creek, Texas, had a way of pulling you back, its red dirt roads and endless flatlands stretching out like accusations you couldn't dodge. At 35, he was no longer the lanky 17-year-old quarterback with dreams bigger than the Friday night lights. But the scars from that old wound still itched under his skin, especially now, as he stared at the faded bleachers of Willow Creek High Stadium, the place where his world had shattered. It had started innocently enough, or so he'd told himself during the long drives from Austin to Dallas in his early 20s, chasing architecture gigs that paid just enough to keep the loneliness at bay. A call from Mayor Ellis Cartwright, a name that stirred vague memories of church potlucks and awkward dances, had come out of the blue 3 months ago. "Spencer, son, we need you. This town stadium is falling apart faster than our budget. You're one of us. Hell, you were our star. Come home, make it right." The words had tasted like ash, but the challenge? That lit a fire he hadn't felt in years. Rebuilding the stadium wasn't just bricks and steel. It was rewriting the ending to a story that had left him broken. He arrived on a sweltering July afternoon, his sleek black SUV kicking up gravel as it pulled into the parking lot of the Rusty Spur Diner, the only spot in town that hadn't changed since he'd fled at 18. The bell above the door jingled like a warning, and heads turned. Farmers in faded John Deere caps, waitresses with smiles that didn't quite reach their eyes. Spencer slid into a booth by the window, the vinyl creaking under him, and ordered black coffee, strong enough to burn away the nostalgia. "Spencer Hale? Lord Almighty, it's really you." The voice was gravelly, laced with that drawl that wrapped around vowels like kudzu. Harlan Whitaker, his old coach, loomed in the doorway, broader now, his face etched deeper with lines that spoke of too many lost seasons and not enough wins. The man who'd mentored him, pushed him, then cast him out like yesterday's trash. Spencer's grip tightened on his mug, the heat seeping into his palms. "Coach," Spencer said, his voice steady, though his pulse betrayed him. "Heard you're still calling the plays." Harlan chuckled, low and forced, sliding into the booth uninvited. "Retired last year, but this town's got me on a leash. Stadium projects got everyone riled up. Folks say it's cursed, too many ghosts." His eyes, sharp as ever, flicked over Spencer, appraising. "You look good, boy. City life's treating you right." It was a dance, this reunion, all surface politeness over the chasm of what Harlan had done. Spencer remembered the night vividly. The away game against Riverton, the stands electric with cheers as he'd thrown the winning pass. Back in the locker room, buzzed on adrenaline and stolen beers, he'd let his guard down with Tommy Reyes, the wide receiver who'd been his best friend since Pee Wee League. A stolen kiss, fumbling and desperate, interrupted by the doors swinging open. Whispers turned to shouts, and by dawn, Harlan had his decision. "Can't have that poison in my program," he'd said, while the team, Tommy included, looked away, silent cowards and shoulder pads. Spencer pushed the memory down, sipping his coffee. "I'm here to fix it, coach. New design, modern facilities. Inclusive, too. Locker rooms with better lighting, community spaces. Make it a hub, not just a field." Harlan's brow furrowed. "Inclusive. Fancy word for Austin liberals. This is Willow Creek, Spencer. We play straight-up football here. No frills." The jab landed, subtle but sharp, and Spencer felt the old anger coil in his gut. But he was older now, wiser, with a portfolio of rebuilt arenas from Seattle to Chicago that whispered his name in industry circles. He'd come out fully at 22, after a string of anonymous hookups in dimly lit bars, and built a life that didn't bend to small-town judgment. There was Marcus, his ex from grad school, the one who'd taught him that love could be steady, not stolen. But Marcus was gone now, traded for a job in New York, leaving Spencer with an empty loft and blueprints for dreams he sketched alone. "Times change," Spencer replied evenly. "Or they should." Harlan leaned back, crossing his arms. "Maybe, but some folks don't forget. Tommy Reyes is back in town, you know. Runs the auto shop now. Got a wife, 2 kids. Asks about you sometimes." The name hit like a blindside tackle. Tommy, the one who'd kissed him back, then vanished into silence when it mattered. Spencer forced a nod, his mind flashing to sunbaked practices, shared Gatorade bottles, the way Tommy's laugh could light up the haze of a humid afternoon. Good for him. Their talk meandered to safer ground, harvest yields, the new Walmart on the highway, until Harlan stood, clapping Spencer's shoulder a beat too long. "Welcome home, son. Let's make this stadium something to be proud of." As he left, The diner door swinging shut, Spencer exhaled, the weight of unspoken accusations settling like dust. That evening, he checked into the Willow Inn, a squat motel with flickering neon that buzzed like his thoughts. Unpacking his laptop, he spread out the preliminary sketches, sweeping arches of glass and steel, a field that gleamed under LED lights, memorials etched with names of players past. Not just the stars, but the benchwarmers, the water boys, the ones who'd loved the game without glory. It was his vision, born from that expulsion, a place where no one got kicked out for who they were. Sleep came fitful, haunted by dreams of cleats pounding turf, the sting of betrayal in the air. Morning brought a site visit, the field a sorry sight, cracked end zones, rusted goalposts leaning like weary sentinels. Crews would arrive next week, but for now, it was his. He walked the sidelines, the grass whispering underfoot, and paused at the 50-yard line, where he'd once dreamed of college scouts and NFL lights. A truck rumbled up, tires crunching gravel, and out stepped Elias Grant, the town engineer, clipboard in hand. Mid-30s like Spencer, with sun-kissed olive skin, curly black hair tied back in a loose knot, and hazel eyes that crinkled at the corners when he smiled. Elias extended a hand, firm and calloused. "Mr. Hale? Elias, been looking forward to this. Your firm's rep precedes you. Call me Spencer," he said, shaking it, noting the easy warmth in Elias's grip. There was something disarming about him. Jeans tucked into work boots, a faded band tee under flannel, like he'd stepped out of a folk song. "Show me the bones of this beast." They toured the site, Elias pointing out structural weak points with a passion that bordered on reverence. "Grew up watching games here. My dad was groundskeeper, taught me every inch of this dirt." His voice softened. "Heard about what happened to you. Coach Harlan's got a long shadow." Spencer stopped, surprised by the directness. "Old news. Not if it shaped you." Elias met his gaze, unflinching. "I'm glad you're the one fixing it. Means something." The words hung there, simple and true, cracking the armor Spencer had worn since breakfast. For the first time that day, the sun felt less like a spotlight and more like a companion. They talked through lunch at a picnic table, Elias sharing stories of botched renovations, Spencer admitting his fear of the project's scale. By afternoon, plans were refined, laughter slipping in unbidden. As Elias drove off, waving from his truck, Spencer lingered, the field stretching out before him. Home wasn't the running, it was the turning back, the rebuilding. But deep down, he knew the ghosts weren't done whispering yet. That night, over takeout tacos in his motel room, Spencer's phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "Heard you're back. We need to talk." His stomach twisted. "Tommy." The past wasn't just knocking, it was kicking down the door. The text from Tommy sat unread on Spencer's phone until midnight, glowing like a coal in the dark motel room. He paced the threadbare carpet, the air thick with the hum of the AC unit and the distant wail of a freight train slicing through the plains. Willow Creek at night was a vacuum, pulling in secrets and regrets, and Spencer's resolve frayed at the edges. What did Tommy want? Absolution? A fight? Or just to stir the pot before the groundbreaking ceremony next week? By dawn, curiosity won. He replied, "Coffee at the diner. 8 a.m. Short, neutral, a line drawn in the sand." The response came instant. "See you there." The rusty spur was busier in the morning, locals nursing eggs and hash browns, conversations a low murmur of weather and oil prices. Tommy was already there, in the corner booth, nursing a mug that looked small in his calloused hands. He'd filled out since high school, broad shoulders straining a flannel shirt, dark hair cropped close, a wedding band glinting on his finger. But his eyes, brown and haunted, were the same, flicking up as Spencer approached. "Spence." The nickname slipped out, old habit, and Tommy stood halfway, like he wasn't sure if a hug was welcome. Spencer slid in opposite, waving off the waitress. "Tommy, no warmth, just the facts. You said we need to talk." Tommy rubbed his neck, gaze dropping to the table. "Yeah, look, I saw your truck yesterday. Figured it was time." He paused, the silence stretching taut. "The stadium thing, it's big news. Harlan's been crowing about it, like he had a hand in hiring you." Spencer leaned back, arms crossed. "He didn't. Mayor did." A ghost of a smile. "Figures. Man's ego's bigger than the state." Then, softer, "I'm sorry, man. For everything." The apology landed soft, but it ignited something fierce in Spencer's chest. Years of therapy sessions in Austin, unpacking the rage, the isolation, The way coming out had felt like stepping off a cliff. Sorry for what, exactly? The kiss? Or standing there while Harlan called me a freak? Tommy winced, deservedly. Both. All of it. I was scared, Spence. 17, Catholic family breathing down my neck, scouts watching every move. I panicked. His voice cracked, just a hair. But I never stopped thinking about you. What we could have been. The words twisted like a knife, romantic in their regret, but laced with poison. Spencer remembered the what-ifs, late-night drives to the quarry, hands brushing in the cab of Tommy's old Ford, the electric promise of something real amid the conformity. But fear had won, and Tommy had chosen the easy path, dated the cheerleader, married her straight out of high school, built a life of grease-stained overalls and Little League coaching. You moved on, Spencer said, voice even. Wife, kids. Sounds like a full plate. Tommy's jaw tightened. It's not that simple. Maria, she's good people. But sometimes, at night, I wonder. He met Spencer's eyes then, raw and pleading. You're back. Maybe we get a second chance. The diner blurred for a moment, Spencer's heart a drumbeat in his ears. Temptation whispered, familiar comfort, the pull of unresolved longing. But he was no longer that boy, trading dignity for scraps. I'm here for the job, Tommy. Not rewrites. He stood, tossing a 10 on the table, and walked out into the heat, the doorbell mocking his exit. Elias was waiting at the site, blueprints unrolled on the hood of his truck, oblivious to the storm brewing in Spencer's veins. Morning, Elias called, grin easy. You look like you wrestled a coyote. Something like that, Spencer muttered, forcing focus. They dove into measurements, Elias's steady presence a bomb. Questions about load-bearing walls leading to talk of his own life. Raised by a single mom in the trailer park, queer in a town that pretended otherwise, out since college but careful with roots. Dating slim pickings here, Elias admitted, wiping sweat from his brow. Mostly apps, but nothing sticks. Spencer nodded, the shared undercurrent humming between them. Austin's better, but it's not home. By lunch, the tension eased, replaced by a rhythm. Elias's laugh at Spencer's dry jokes, the way their shoulders brushed over a shared tablet. It felt tentative, real, a spark without the baggage of history. As they wrapped up, Elias hesitated. Hey, there's a bonfire tonight at Miller's Pond. Locals only, but you'd fit right in. Come unwind. Spencer paused, Tommy's words still echoing. Yeah, I could use that. The pond was a ritual, trucks circling the water's edge, flames leaping high against the starry sky. Spencer arrived late, beer in hand. The crowd a mix of familiar faces and strangers. Harlan holding court by the fire, stories of glory days drawing laughs. Tommy was there too, arm around Maria, but his eyes tracked Spencer like a shadow. Elias found him first, handing over a s'more, sticky chocolate smearing his fingers. Knew you'd show. This place hasn't changed, same songs, same bullshit. They sat on a log, the fire's warmth chasing the chill, and talked. About Elias's dream of sustainable designs, Spencer's failed engagement to Marcus, the ache of building walls instead of bridges. You ever think about staying? Elias asked, voice low. All the time, Spencer confessed. But fear's a hell of an architect. As the night deepened, Tommy approached, beer-fueled courage loosening his tongue. Spence, wait. But Maria tugged him back, whispering, and he relented, the moment dissolving into smoke. Spencer turned to Elias, the firelight dancing in his eyes. Dance with me. No music but the crackle and crickets, but Elias stood, pulling him close, their steps awkward and perfect. In that sway, under the Texas stars, Spencer felt the first thaw of something new. Hope, fragile but fierce. Back at the motel, alone, he sketched late into the night. Not just stadium walls, but vignettes of inclusivity, rainbow murals, youth programs for all. The past clawed, but the future beckoned, and for the first time, he wondered if Willow Creek could hold both. Groundbreaking loomed, a public spectacle, and with it, the inevitable collision. Spencer didn't know it yet, but Tommy's regret was a lit fuse, and Harlan's pride the powder keg. The groundbreaking ceremony dawned crisp, the October air carrying a bite that hinted at winter's approach over the flatlands. Willow Creek High's parking lot overflowed with pickup trucks and minivans, families spilling out in their Sunday best, the buzz of anticipation thick as the scent of fresh coffee from the PDA booth. Spencer stood at the podium's edge, notes in hand, his navy suit tailored sharp against the casual crowd, jeans and boots, Stetsons tilted just so. Elias lingered nearby, fiddling with a hard hat, his presence a quiet anchor amid the sea of half-remembered faces. Mayor Cartwright droned on about legacy and community pride, his voice booming over the mic. But Spencer's mind wandered to the night before, Elias's hand on his knee during a slow drive back from the pond, the unspoken invitation hanging like mist. They'd parted with a lingering hug, boundaries tested but not crossed, leaving Spencer restless and wanting. And now, our visionary architect, Spencer Hale, a son of Willow Creek, returning to give back. Applause rippled, polite but edged with curiosity. Whispers slithered through. That's the boy they booted. Heard he's one of them now. Spencer stepped up, clearing his throat, the weight of eyes pressing like gravity. Willow Creek taught me football, grit, teamwork, heart. But it also taught me about breaking. He paused, letting it sink. This stadium won't just stand, it'll heal. Open to every kid who laces up, no matter who they love or where they come from. Because legacy isn't about wins, it's about who we lift up. Murmurs swelled, some nods, some frowns. Harlan, seated front row, shifted uncomfortably, his face a mask of forced approval. Tommy stood at the back, Maria on his arm, expression unreadable. The shovel broke ground with a ceremonial thud, dirt flying, cheers erupting. Cameras flashed, and Spencer posed, Elias at his side, their shoulders brushing in solidarity. But as the crowd dispersed, Harlan cornered him by the porta-potty line, charming as ever. Fine speech, Spencer, but don't go stirring pots. This town's got traditions. His tone was avuncular, but the warning gleamed underneath. Traditions evolve, coach, or they crumble. Harlan's laugh barked short. Like that bridge in Dallas you botched? Heard about that. Cost overruns, delays. Careful you don't drag us down with your ideals. The dig stung, a reminder of the project's tight budget, the investors breathing down his neck. Spencer held his ground. My track record's solid. Yours? Questionable. They parted with glares, the rift widening. Elias clapped his back later, over sandwiches at the site trailer. You own that stage. Harlan's just salty. Spencer unwrapped his turkey club, appetite faint. He knows where to hit. That Dallas job. It nearly sank me. Elias listened as Spencer spilled. The client who'd pulled funding mid-build over aesthetic mismatches. Code for Spencer's push for eco-friendly materials that clashed with their oil-barren tastes. Marcus had been there then, steady until he wasn't, leaving Spencer to pick up the pieces alone. Felt like high school all over, Spencer admitted. Exposed, judged. Elias's hand covered his, brief but electric. You're not that kid anymore. And this? It's redemption. The touch lingered in Spencer's mind through the afternoon's chaos. Bulldozers rumbling in, stakes marking foundations, the skeleton of change rising from the earth. By dusk, exhaustion pulled him to the quarry's edge, a spot he'd claimed as his thinking ground. The water below mirrored the fading sky, ripples from a tossed pebble echoing his turmoil. Footsteps crunched behind him. Tommy, hands in pockets, silhouette stark against the twilight. Needed to see you. Away from eyes. Spencer tensed. Groundbreaking's done. What now? Tommy sat on a boulder, close but not touching. Maria knows. About us. Back then. The confession tumbled out, heavy. Found my old journal last week. She read it. We talked all night. Spencer's breath caught. And she's hurt, confused. But she gets it, says I owe you truth. Tommy's eyes glistened. I loved you, Spence. Still do, in some fucked up way. That's why I can't watch you build this without saying it. The vulnerability cracked something in Spencer, anger melting into ache, the romantic pull of what-ifs surging like a tide. He remembered Tommy's touch in stolen moments. Behind the bleachers, fingers tracing collarbones, whispers of forever against sweat-damp skin. You chose safe, Spencer said softly. I get it, but I can't be your ghost. Tommy reached out, thumb brushing Spencer's cheek. Then let me help. On the crew. I know this land, the way it shifts. Temptation warred with wisdom. Spencer pulled back. I need professionals, not peasants. As Tommy left, dejected, Spencer's phone lit up. Elias. Bonfire round 2? Or just us, beers at my place. The choice felt monumental, a fork in the road. He chose forward. Elias's bungalow was a modest haven on the town's edge, porch swing creaking, fairy lights strung over succulents, the air scented with mesquite from a backyard grill. No frills, Elias said, handing over a cold IPA. But the stars are free. They grilled burgers, the sizzle punctuating easy talk. Elias's coming out story at a family rodeo, awkward but embraced. Spencer's first pride in Austin, rain-soaked and euphoric. Laughter flowed, barriers thinning, until Elias set down his plate. That speech today? It was you. Raw. Spencer met his gaze, the porch light haloing Elias's curls. Scared me shitless. Brave scary. Elias leaned in, breath warm. This okay? The kiss was tentative, lips brushing soft, then deepening with the pent-up hunger of new beginnings. Hands roamed, Elias's fingers in Spencer's hair, Spencer's palm against the small of his back, world narrowing to heat and heartbeat. They broke apart gasping, foreheads touching. More than okay, Spencer murmured. Inside, on Elias's worn couch, clothes shed in a trail, their bodies moved with urgent grace, exploring scars and strengths, whispers of need weaving through moans. It was romantic, raw, a reclaiming under the hum of ceiling fans. Afterward, tangled in sheets, Elias traced Spencer's jaw. Stay tonight. Spencer did, dawn finding them wrapped close, the world outside a distant hum. But Willow Creek stirred. By week's end, rumors swirled, Harlan's barbs turning to whispers of sabotage, misplaced permits, anonymous calls to suppliers. Tommy's offer echoed, a lifeline or a trap. And as foundations poured, Spencer's heart split, torn between the comfort of old flames and the promise of new fire. The crisis brewed, betrayal's shadow lengthening. November swept in with a chill wind that stripped the last leaves from the live oaks lining Willow Creek's main drag, mirroring the frost settling over the stadium project. Spencer woke in Elias's bed most mornings now, the scent of coffee brewing a ritual that grounded him amid the rising chaos. Their nights blurred into a rhythm of shared silences and fervent touches, Elias's laugh against his neck, hands mapping each other's histories like cherished blueprints. It was the kind of intimacy Spencer had chased in cities, only to find it in this unlikely soil, tender and unforced. But tenderness couldn't shield against the storm. The first blow landed midweek. A supplier from Lubbock called, apologetic but firm. Contracts pulled, Mr. Hale. Word got wind of. Concerns. Liability issues. Spencer's blood ran cold. Harlan's doing, no doubt, his network of old boys club ties reaching far. The delay meant weeks, thousands in fees, the groundbreaking momentum grinding to a halt. He confronted Harlan at the feed store, the air thick with grain dust and resentment. This your handiwork, coach? Scared of a little progress. Harlan stacked feed bags with deliberate calm, muscles bunching under his polo. Progress? You're turning our field into a rainbow rally. Folks talk. Say you're pushing an agenda. I just made a call to a friend. Protecting the town. From what? Equality. Spencer's voice rose, drawing stares from the cashier. You kicked me out for being me. Now you're sabotaging because I won't stay kicked. Harlan's eyes narrowed, the Minter facade cracking. You were a liability then. Still are. This ain't Austin, it's Willow Creek. My Willow Creek. The words echoed the past, reopening the wound wide. Spencer stormed out, fists clenched, driving aimless until he found himself at the quarry, the water black and still. He texted Elias. Need you. Minutes later, Elias arrived, sliding beside him on the hood of the SUV, arm around shoulders without question. Tell me, Elias said simply. Spencer did. The expulsion's fresh pain, Harlan's betrayal anew, the fear that this project, his redemption, would crumble like the old stadium. Tears came unbidden, hot on his cheeks, and Elias held him through it. Kisses soft on temple and jaw. You're stronger than this town, Spence. We'll fight. That night, in Elias's kitchen, over reheated lasagna, they strategized, alternate suppliers, budget tweaks, a public appeal. But beneath the plans, emotion simmered. Elias's quiet confession. I fell hard, you know. Scary fast. Spencer's reply. A kiss that led to the counter. Bodies urgent against cool granite. Love whispered in the dark. Yet doubt festered. Tommy called the next day, voice urgent. Heard about the supplier. Harlan's rallying the council. Wants you off the project. Meet me at the shop. Please. Against better judgment, Spencer went. The auto garage smelled of oil and rubber. Bays empty in the late afternoon lull. Tommy wiped his hands on a rag, face drawn. I know about the calls. Harlan came to me. Asked if you'd calmed down since high school. Said you're corrupting the team legacy. Spencer's laugh was bitter. And you? I told him to fuck off. Tommy stepped closer, too close, the air charging. But he's got pull. Maria's pushing me to choose sides, family or Whatever this is. This. Spencer's pulse raced, the proximity stirring ghosts. Tommy's hand grazed his arm. Us. The unfinished. Spence, I can't lose you again. The plea broke something, a dam of resentment flooding with longing. Spencer pulled him in, their kiss desperate, tasting of regret and salt. It escalated fast, against the workbench, tools clattering, clothes shoved aside in frantic need. It was cathartic, destructive, a collision of past and present that left them breathless, spent, guilt crashing in waves. I can't, Spencer gasped, pulling away. Elias. Tommy's face crumpled. One night. For what we lost. But as Spencer dressed, shame coiled tight. Betrayal, his own this time, the hypocrisy burning. He fled to Elias's, confession spilling before the door shut. I slept with Tommy. Stupid, weak, I'm sorry. Elias froze, hurt flashing raw before walls rose. Why? To close it. But it opened everything worse. Tears streamed. I love you. This, us, is real. Elias paced, the silence deafening. I need space. Trust not blueprints, Spence. It cracks easy. The night stretched endless, Spencer alone in his motel, the bed cold. Crisis peaked. Council meeting loomed. Harlan's motion to replace him on the docket. Desperate, Spencer rallied. Calls to Austin contacts. A plea to Mayor Cartwright over whiskey at the VFW hall. This is bigger than me, he urged. It's the kids, the future. Cartwright sighed, jowls quivering. Harlan's got half the town. But your vision. It sings. Fight for it. The meeting was a battlefield. Harsh lights in the community center, folding chairs scraping, voices clashing. Harlan rose, eloquent venom. Hale's a fine architect, but his politics divide us. We need unity, not division. Murmurs agreed, until Spencer stood, voice steady. Unity isn't silence. It's inclusion. I was your quarterback, kicked for loving wrong. This stadium honors that mistake by preventing it. He projected sketches, diverse kids on the field, murals of resilience. Build with me, or watch it fall without. Elias slipped in late, taking a back seat, eyes locked on Spencer, forgiveness unspoken but present. Tommy testified next, shocking all, Harlan's wrong. Spencer's giving us pride. I know, I failed him once. The vote teetered, then swung, Spencer stayed. Elation surged, but the cost lingered. Elias distant post-meeting, a chaste hug goodbye. We talk tomorrow, he said, voice tight. Alone, Spencer walked the site under moonlight, foundations solidifying. Healing began in fractures. He realized, betrayals mended with truth. But Harlan's glare promised more storms, and Tommy's testimony a bridge burned or built. As wind whispered through rebar, Spencer vowed, no more running. The legacy was his to claim, love and all. December blanketed Willow Creek in a rare frost. The stadium site a skeletal marvel against the hoarfrost, beams rising like ribs, the promise of shelter in a town unaccustomed to mercy. Spencer threw himself into the work, dawn to dusk vigils with the crew, his hands blistered from rebar ties, mind a whirlwind of calculations and what-ifs. Elias's space had stretched to a week of polite texts, then radio silence, the void aching deeper than Harlan's sabotage. Every glance at the quarry now evoked guilt, not solace. Every blueprint bore the smudge of betrayal. Christmas approached, strings of lights twinkling in shop windows, carols piping from the hardware store. Spencer dodged invitations, Harlan's awkward team dinner, Tommy's family barbecue, opting for solitary drives to the city limits, radio crooning Johnny Cash laments. Marcus texted once, a cheery miss the holidays with you? Deleted unread. Home was unraveling again, threads pulling loose. Elias broke the ice on a Tuesday, showing up at the site with thermoses of cider, steam curling in the cold. Truce. His smile was tentative, hazel eyes searching. Spencer's heart clenched. More than that. Please. They walked the perimeter, boots crunching ice, words tumbling cautious. I get it, the pull of firsts, Elias said. But we build on now, not ghosts. His hand found Spencer's, gloved fingers lacing. I want now. Relief flooded, warm as the cider. That night, they decorated Elias's tree. Tinsel fights turning to kisses by the hearth, bodies rediscovering trust in the flicker of ornaments. It was romantic reclamation, slow dances to vinyl records, confessions murmured over eggnog. You're my forward, Spencer whispered, Elias's head on his chest. No looking back. But the past prowled. Tommy cornered him at the diner, eyes red-rimmed. Council meeting, that was for you. Maria's filing papers. Says I chose wrong again. Spencer recoiled. I didn't ask for. You didn't have to. Tommy's voice broke. Loving you's my curse. But go, be happy. I see it, with him. The encounter lingered, a bruise. Harlan escalated next. Anonymous letters to the paper, protect our traditions, decrying the lavender lobby, infiltrating the build. Public opinion soured. Picketers at the gates, slurs scrawled on porta-johns. Spencer fielded investor calls, soothing with data, but inside, crisis crested, doubt whispering he'd doomed them all. The breaking point came on a sleet-lashed night. Crew sent home early, Spencer alone in the trailer poring over delays. A knock. Harlan, drenched, face thunderous. This ends now. Resign, or I go public with your indiscretions. Indiscretions? Spencer rose, fury igniting. You mean loving a man? Or screwing over a kid you swore to protect? Harlan advanced, finger jabbing. I made you a winner. You spit on that. You broke me. The dam burst. Spencer shoving the desk, papers flying. 17, coach. I trusted you. And you chose hate. Harlan faltered, mask slipping to reveal an old man's fear. It was the times. Bored. Parents. They'd have burned us down. Not an excuse. Spencer's voice trembled. Apologize. Mean it. Silence stretched, then Harlan deflated. I'm sorry, son, for the boy you were. Hoarse, broken. He left, the door slamming like punctuation. Spencer sank to the floor, sobs racking. Catharsis, raw and purging. Dawn found him there, Elias arriving with breakfast, pulling him into arms without words. What happened? Confronted the dragon. Spencer clung. Slayed it, maybe. News spread. Harlan's resignation from the booster club, a quiet retreat. The letters stopped, pickets faded. Work surged, steel framing up, the press box taking shape. Spencer integrated heart, engraved plaques for overlooked players, a garden for reflection. Christmas Eve, he and Elias hosted a small gathering. Mayor Cartwright, a few crew hands, even Maria, solo and serene. Toasts to resilience. Laughter echoing off walls not yet built. Later, under stars pricked sharp, Spencer proposed a walk to the field. Marry me. Not rings, but intent. Future sketched in frost-kissed breath. Elias's yes was a kiss, fierce and sure. Hell yes. January thawed the crisis, but emotional undercurrents swirled. Tommy vanished into divorce proceedings, a ghost fading. Spencer's therapy calls to Austin delved deeper, forgiving self, the boy who'd internalized shame. With Elias, vulnerability bloomed, shared journals, dreams voiced in bed, love a steady scaffold. Yet climax loomed. The stadium's naming ceremony in spring, Harlan invited as olive branch. As beams hoisted the final arch, Spencer stood tall, legacy rising not just in concrete, but in mended souls. Betrayal's echoes softened, healing's light breaking through. Spring unfurled over Willow Creek like a reluctant confession, wildflowers nodding along fence lines, the air humming with the promise of renewal. The stadium stood nearly complete, a colossus of glass and green, its curves echoing the horizon, floodlights poised to banish shadows forever. Spencer walked the concourse daily, clipboard in hand, but his steps slowed at the memorial wall, names etched in bronze, including his own, quarterback '09, a quiet reclamation. Elias joined him often, their engagement a secret spark, rings pending, but commitment woven into every joint and weld. The idol fractured on a humid afternoon, crew wrapping electrical runs. A courier arrived, envelope crisp, lawsuit papers from Harlan Whitaker. Defamation. The header screamed, claiming Spencer's public accusations at the council meeting had ruined his reputation, cost endorsements, isolated him from friends. Demands, halt construction, pay damages, or face court. Spencer's world tilted. He apologized. He muttered to Elias in the trailer, papers trembling in his grip. This. Betrayal squared. Elias scanned, jaw set. Bluff. But it'll drag. Headlines, delays. His hand squeezed Spencer's knee. We fight smart. Lawyer up. The call to Austin's firm was a blur, retainers wired, depositions scheduled. Publicly, Spencer stonewalled. But privately, crisis clawed. Sleep evaded, sketches turned frantic. Elias's touches met with distant nods. You're pulling away, Elias said one night, over cooling pasta. Talk. It's poison, Spencer admitted, voice small. Harlan's hate. It's in me now, doubting everything. What if I lose this? Us. Elias cupped his face. You won't. We're steel reinforced. Tommy resurfaced then, unbidden ally. Divorced, adrift, he knocked at the motel, Spencer crashing there to escape his thoughts. Saw the papers. Harlan's cornered, drinking heavy. Let me mediate. For old times. Spencer hesitated, the old pull warring with wisdom. Why? Redemption's contagious. Tommy's smile was wry. And I owe you peace. The meeting was set at Harlan's ranch, dust devils swirling in the yard, the air thick with unspoken grief. Harlan sat on the porch, shotgun absent but whiskey bottle present, eyes bloodshot. Come to gloat. To end this, Spencer said, flanked by Elias and Tommy. Drop the suit. We move on. Harlan's laugh rasped. Easy for you, city boy with fancy man. I built this program from dirt. You tear it down with your sob stories. Elias spoke then, calm fire. Sir, legacy's not ownership. It's passing the torch clean. Tommy added, voice steady. You taught us heart, coach. Show some now. The old man deflated, bottle clinking to the rail. Lost my wife last year. Cancer. Then you, stirring it all up. Felt like attack. Vulnerability pierced. Spencer saw the man, not monster. I lost too. Family disowned me after you kicked me out. But hate? It eats the hater. Silence. Then Harlan nodded. Suit's gone. Tomorrow. He stood, hand extended, shaky but real. Spencer took it, grip firm. Driving back, catharsis washed. Tears for the boy, the coach, the years wasted. Elias pulled over at the quarry, holding him as sobs subsided. Proud of you, he murmured, kisses healing balm. The naming ceremony bloomed under April sun, stands filling with townsfolk, bands blaring, the field verdant and waiting. Mayor Cartwright emceed, voice booming. Today, we christen Whitaker Stadium, not for one man, but for the spirit he ignited, refined by Spencer's vision. Harlan approached the podium, silver-haired, humbled. I was wrong. Spencer taught me that. Applause thundered, genuine now. Spencer spoke last, Elias at his side. This isn't mine. It's ours, every outcast, every dreamer. Play hard, love true. He revealed the final touch, a plaque, for the kicked, the rising. Cheers erupted, but Spencer's eyes locked on Elias, love a private crescendo. Post-ceremony, amid handshakes, Tommy pulled him aside. You're good, man. Him too. Deserve it. Maria nearby, arm linked with a new bow, nodded grace. Healing rippled outward. That night, bonfire at the pond, full circle. Spencer and Elias danced slow, rings exchanged in firelight, vows whispered. Build with me, always. Crisis crested and broke, emotional waves settling to calm. Betrayal's sting faded to lessen, legacy etched not in stone alone, but in hearts mended, loves affirmed. Willow Creek breathed freer, Spencer its quiet architect. Summer heat baked Willow Creek into a haze of cicada song and shimmering mirages. The stadium's first game under lights a symphony of rebirth. Spencer sat in the press box with Elias, fingers intertwined, the crowd's roar of validation sweeter than any blueprint approval. Below, the Willow Creek Wildcats, diverse roster gleaming in new jerseys, took the field, the quarterback a wiry kid named Javier, out and proud, scouts buzzing in the stands. No shadows loomed. Harlan watched from the 50-yard line, clapping with the masses, his redemption a quiet arc. The months post-naming had been a gentle unfolding. Wedding plans sketched over lazy Sundays, Elias's bungalow their nest, expansions dreamed for the community center, a queer youth hub, scholarships in Spencer's name. Tommy found footing too, coaching JV with a softer edge, Maria's friendship a bridge intact. Betrayals, once monoliths, crumbled to footnotes, the journey's scars badges of survival. Yet depth lingered, humanistic threads weaving through the everyday. Spencer's calls home to a thawing family, his mother's voice cracking over apologies long overdue. Elias's mom, baking pies for that nice boy who'd mended her son's solitude. Romance deepened. Anniversaries marked with quarry picnics, bodies entwined under star-pricked skies, love a language of touches and truths. One August evening, as the sun dipped low, painting the stadium in golds, Spencer led Elias to the memorial wall. Read this, he said, finger tracing a new etching. Spencer Hale, builder of bridges, lover of light. For Elias, my forever forward. Elias's eyes misted. You sap. But his kiss was fierce, grateful. This town's changed because of you. We changed. Not me alone. Spencer pulled him close. Us. All of us. The game that night was electric. Overtime thriller, Wildcats victorious by a field goal, the stands erupting in unity's embrace. Post-win, players mobbed the field, Javier hoisting the trophy skyward, his rainbow armband glinting. Spencer and Elias joined the fray, confetti raining, laughter bubbling free. Later, on the empty turf under stadium glow, they lay back, hands linked, the stars a canopy vast. Remember the hook? Spencer murmured. Kicked out, broken. Elias turned, eyes reflecting lights. Now? Rebuilt. Whole. In that moment, value crystallized. Not in triumph's flash, but in the human weave. Forgiveness forged in fire, love defying odds, legacy a living breath. Willow Creek, once a cage, now wings, for the kicked, the rising, the loving bold. No grand tragedy, but a happy profound. Hearts healed, horizons wide. Spencer breathed deep, the air sweet with possibility, Elias's head on his shoulder. Home at last,